What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. Pleased to be with you. Lots to go through, including the Boston situation, which we will, of course, discuss in a moment's time. Want to say thank you to JC Galvanil. I've seen that he gifted 50 Anfield Agenda memberships. You're very kind, sir. Thank you. I know that'll be much appreciated. And I hope that you're all surviving well over the international break. They're tough. They seem to go on forever, but yes, we will get stuck into it, and I've missed you all a lot, but there is a lot I need to get through tonight, and I will get there. For instance, I have to explain the Boston show cancellation and what happened there, and of course I will. I'm just going to wait for the chat to fill up. Now, I've read through some of the comments. Got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed that somebody in the chat who professes to have had tickets to the show thinks I just randomly cancelled it last minute. But I'll make that apparent in a few moments' time. We're also going to talk about Liverpool's managerial search. We're going to have a chat about the latest offers from our friends at oosh.com as well, of course, and lots of other information tonight. Some information on interest in Trent Alexander-Arnold from Real Madrid. But, like as I said, most importantly, I hope you're all coping well over the international break. The good news is we're on the home stretch. This weekend, the Reds will be back in action, and we're going with a double header here on the channel. Liverpool, Brighton, then of course we're going to take in Manchester City against Arsenal. So, is Alonso coming? The answer to that is I don't know. But I don't think anybody does yet, Queen Nadra. So, I wouldn't feel bad about me saying I don't know yet. I don't think anybody knows the answer to that one quite yet. 8 months up to the greatest man on earth. Can't wait to see you in Cardiff and Liverpool when dates are confirmed. WFM, love to you and the family. Thank you, buddy. We have a provisional date for the Cardiff show booked. We're going to get a confirmation on that tomorrow. We're waiting to hear back on a couple of venues in Liverpool, and I've one in Belfast I'm looking to hear back from as well. So, look, I'm going to cover this once, and if anybody misses it and comes in later on, I'm going to be reliant on you good people in the chat to keep them up to date with what's happened. So I'll explain it, but just so we don't annoy everybody by going back over it multiple times, I'm going to start off by discussing what happened with the Boston situation, and then we'll get straight into tonight's show and all your questions and all the topics that you guys want to discuss. So, first up, let me sincerely apologise on behalf of myself, Connor, and the entire Anfield Agenda team for the very late cancellation of the Boston show. I will now explain exactly why the show got cancelled. As you can probably see, I'm here. I'm sitting in Ireland. I'm not in America, nor was I ever in America. So what happened was this. We had all our paperwork sorted for the show. We had the IRS tax audit stuff all done. We had the withholding forms for the tax all sorted. And we arrived at Dublin Airport. We checked into our flight, went through security, and then went downstairs to Dublin Airport. And for those of you who aren't familiar, in Dublin Airport, when you're going to Ireland, or when you're going to America from Ireland, Homeland Security is downstairs. So, yeah, you clear customs and security in Dublin before you fly to America. So we did all the usual security checks, then got through, got up to the desk. Gentleman at the desk said to me, "What's your purpose of your visit?" And I said, "Work, I'm doing a show." And he said to me, "What do you mean you're doing a show?" And I said, "I'm doing a show in Boston." And then he said, "Hang on." And then we were brought out the back, where we were held for a couple of hours and grilled on a couple of details. Long story short, we had the incorrect visa. Apparently, we needed a visa that's called a P1 visa, which is for people performing in the United States of America. I made a mistake on the form, which, according to the lady officer who I was speaking with, said that it's not an uncommon mistake. The ESTA, which is the visa waiver that we normally use to go in and out of America here in Ireland and many other countries, says on it that it covers you for 90 days travel and business. Now, I stupidly thought business was covered by what we were doing in the show, but apparently that's a different type of visa, and business was, let's say you wanted to go over there and have a business meeting. So we got detained and we were refused entry onto the flight to enter America. That is why the show was cancelled. It's not that we didn't care. It's not that we didn't want to be at the show. It's that we weren't allowed into America because of paperwork issues with the certain visa we should have had. That's why. So for you who feel bad about it, I understand. I'm out $7,000 that I can't get back. Flights, hotel, accommodation, or flights, hotel, venue, all money we can't get back. So I really apologise, but it was no fault of ours, intentional fault of ours, I should say. I take ownership for the mistake in paperwork. That's on me. If you're going into a country, it's on you to make sure everything is correct. my misjudgment of the visa situation is what caused the situation. So that's where we're at. So I do sincerely apologise. And yeah, it sucks. It's been a horrible, horrible few days at home, explaining everything to everybody over and over again. So I do apologise, but I want to get that out of the way first and foremost. I'd never cancel a show on people intentionally. Never. I'd show up if I was in a hospital bed. I'd wheel the bed onto the stage. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's just one of them things that we can't control, unfortunately. And yeah, that's it. That's the gist of what happened. It was an issue with the paperwork. We thought the ESTA visa waiver covered us. It didn't. It should have been a P1 visa, and now we're here. So this is that's what happened, unfortunately. $7,000 mistake for us, but you know, as I said, I never one who looked for excuses. It was on me. Misinterpretation of the visa requirement. I hold my hands up, and we look to move forward. That's it. Did I at least get the pizza? I never got to leave Dublin Airport, mate. Never. We were checked into. Our bags were on the plane and everything. We had to get our bags taken off the plane when we were refused entry. So, yeah, look, I have to say, the customs or Homeland Security officer was nothing but nice. It was just one of those things. It was just a bit of red tape, and it is what it is, and I learn from it moving forward. I feel like, you know, many people would have just said at that moment that they were going for a holiday. I wouldn't lie to a Homeland Security official. I wouldn't lie to anybody in a position like that. So I honestly gave my situation thinking that I was covered by the visa. So there we go. Right, anyway. So I hope that covers it. But if anybody has any other issues, feel free to email me. Like the gentleman who was professing to have tickets and accommodation booked, but yeah, weirdly, I hadn't seen that person in the chat ever beforehand. So I have severe doubts about that. But anyway, that's where we're at. So let's talk about, oh God, what do we want to start off tonight? Do we want to talk about the PGMOL first? Or do you want me to talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold and Real Madrid's interest? I mean, I'm happy to go in whichever one of those two you guys would like me to cover. Alex, thank you, mate, for gifting 20 Anfield Agenda memberships. You're very kind, bud. Appreciate you. And thank you guys for making what was, I'm not going to lie, I've been very nervous about this stream. Very nervous. So I'm glad to be back, and I appreciate your support on the issue. Trent, right, let's go. Let's talk about Trent. So, lots of interest in Trent from Real Madrid. That interest is sincere. They are very interested in trying to bring him to the Santiago Bernabeu. But, thankfully for us, Trent Alexander-Arnold wants to go on to become Liverpool captain someday and wants to captain his boyhood club. So, it looks like that Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards are going to have, I don't want to say a straightforward negotiation, but I would be very confident that Trent Alexander-Arnold won't be tempted by a move to Real Madrid. Lewis Steele has been writing about this as well. He said Trent Alexander-Arnold loves the idea of one day becoming captain at Anfield and was keen to be part of the new cycle of success at the club starting this summer. There's been a lot of talk in football circles for several months that Real Madrid have courted Alexander-Arnold given his deal runs out at the end of the season. So I wouldn't worry about Trent from that regard. Now, of course, there is another angle to this that perhaps worries you, because it certainly worried me when I first heard about Real Madrid's interest in Trent, and that is the Jude Bellingham factor. Because whilst we wanted to sign Jude Bellingham, and all of us Liverpool fans were looking at the budding friendship between Jude Bellingham and Trent Alexander-Arnold, we were looking at it from the perspective of bringing Bellingham to Liverpool at the time. But now, when I look back at it, I'm worried about the idea of it being the other way. So, seeing this type of stuff from Richard Steele, and many other journalists, I should say, that are very confident that Trent will remain on Merseyside. Now, he does have to negotiate a new deal. At the end of this season, Mohamed Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk will all be in the final year of the Liverpool contract. They've got 1 year to go after this year. So it will be a priority to make sure that that contract is renewed for Trent. And I don't think there's a single one of us here that doesn't believe that Trent Alexander-Arnold should be given a new deal very quickly. One that, of course, shows his growing influence on the club and his growing stature as well, because he's been promoted to vice-captain now behind Virgil van Dijk, and as Lewis Steele in his piece reported, Trent wants to become the Liverpool captain someday. So moving away from Liverpool is not going to achieve that for him. And look, it is, I'm sure, very, very tempting, very flattering to see a club the size of Real Madrid being interested in you. We've seen Real Madrid need fullbacks. Alphonso Davies looks like he's going to be one that will be joining the revolution, if you want to call it that, at Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham's there. You've seen Endrick, of course. England fans already know a little bit about Endrick. Sorry, I had to get the low blow in with his goal at Wembley to beat England the other day. So I wouldn't be too concerned about Trent Alexander-Arnold. But it does lead us into the other 2/3 of this trifecta, and that's Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah. Now, with Virgil van Dijk, trying to read between the lines of a lot of the interviews he's given lately, he also seems to be of the mindset of wanting to be part of the next birth of this Liverpool team. And he spoke about being sad that Jurgen Klopp's gone to depart. He spoke about being quite an emotional guy himself, Virg. But I get the feeling that those two, they certainly want to stay at Liverpool Football Club. Now, Mohamed Salah, I truly just don't know. I'm not saying he wants to leave. I'm not saying he wants to stay. I'm not saying anything, because that's the one I don't know anything about at the moment. All the vibes that you're getting from journalists that you speak to, other Liverpool fans you speak to, people closer to the club, are that, yeah, they're confident around the Trent situation, as I think they should be, because he's a local boy and we want that Scouse heartbeat at the club. Himself, Curtis Jones. Yeah, good news. Actually, Kyle Walker, speaking about Trent just, I think it was today or yesterday when he gave an interview, spoke about Trent's ability to play as a quarterback, spoke about the quality of his passing, left foot, right foot. I think he even said one of the phrases was, with snow on it, without snow on it. So that's good, but it still doesn't answer the question though. What happens with Trent? What happens with his position? What happens when he comes back? Because after the international break, we'll play Brighton, and then there's talk Trent could be back or close to being back for the next game. What happens there? Will we see Jurgen Klopp utilise him in midfield? Or will we see him revert back to that position that Conor Bradley has been filling in for him at, on the right side of the defence, drifting inside to play in that hybrid position? Obviously, we've had plenty of success with Trent in that role, but it remains to be seen when that move into midfield will come, because it does look like at this particular juncture it's just a matter of time until Trent becomes a midfielder. But as I've said to you guys all along, I don't know what a Trent Alexander-Arnold midfield position looks like under Jurgen Klopp, because I don't really see him fulfilling the roles that Szoboszlai or McAllister or Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones would do, because he's not a similar type of player in the way that they close, the way that they press. He's more of, as Kyle Walker said, a quarterback, a regista. And we don't really play with one of those. So it may take, again, a tweaking system to see him fully utilised. But what we can't do, and this is something I've been thinking quite a lot about over the international break, is we can't continue to leave overloads on that right-hand side. Look at what happened in our last game when Joe Gomez played at right back. Mohamed Salah wasn't fit enough, I don't believe, to be able to track back because he was recovering from an injury. And we were exposed massively against United down that side. Rashford targeted over and over and over again. We spoke about it before with Fulham as well. Similar, they target that side when, in this case, it was Gomez who tucked inside, but in other cases, been Trent. So we need to sort that out longer term. We can't keep playing with this kind of hybrid model, because I think we'll be exploited down that side. So look, I've had my say on Trent and what I think is going to happen, but I want to know how you guys feel about it. Do you have concern genuinely that Trent could be tempted by a move to Real Madrid? Or do you think that his heart is, of course, with his hometown club? That's where I think anyway. I think he's nailed on to stay with us, but again, let's wait and see what happens. Right. Izzy, thank you for gifting 3 memberships. No, you've been with us 3 months. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Izzy, thank you for being with us 3 months. And there was a membership gifted by Eddie Cox-Wilkins. Eddie, thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. Trent is next in line for the captain if VVD leaves, said Kyle. I would say you're 100% spot on. Obviously, Virgil is not going to be able to play on forever. He probably has, 2, 3, 4 years max maybe left at the top level. I'd say 3 comfortably. And then at some point, yes, you would imagine Trent will step up and take over that mantle and become the next Liverpool captain. Which, it's a beautiful story, you know. That's what you want. Ideally, you want that local heartbeat of your club. You want that local kid done good, come through the ranks to go on and captain. You know, Steven Gerrard previously. So yeah, Hopefully we get to that stage with Trent, but I am still concerned of the hybrid role and the way that we play it now, because we're getting to the business end of the season. We've already been knocked out of the FA Cup, and that still stings, I'm not going to lie. So we need to make sure that we are all systems go, fully firing for the remainder of the campaign. Craig, it's my birthday today, and I got tickets to go to Anfield for the first time. Oren, massive mate. Well in, congratulations. Delighted for you, bro. And look, if you are new to the channel or you're maybe with us and haven't subscribed yet, please do. As you can see, top corner, we are very, very close to 251,000 subscribers, which still feels really cool to say. I want to just draw your attention really quickly before I get stuck into a lot more news, including stuff around Ruben Amorim. I want to just draw your attention to our friends at Oosh, who have two fantastic competitions coming up. How about winning Carlsberg hospitality tickets to watch Liverpool Spurs for 99 cent? No, I'm lying to you. That's 99 cent for normal people, but for the Anfield Agenda community, of course, our friends at Oosh with that discount code AA10 get you 10% off, so 90 cent. You can win 2 tickets to see Liverpool versus Spurs in the Carlsberg dugout, seated together in the main, the Carlsberg dugout in the main stand. You will also receive 1 night's accommodation at the IHG Hotel Liverpool City Centre, and €300 in Ryanair vouchers, or you can take the cash alternative. All of that for 99 cent entry. You can get yourself over to oosh.com by scanning that QR code on the screen or using the link in the description. And also, they've got a 2020 Volkswagen Tiguan Or line up for offer. Again, just 99 cent or 90 cent for you guys to enter that. It is a beautiful car. You can see it up on the website. It's a 7-speed DGS, I should say. No, DSG automatic. And again, all of these can be found at oosh.com, because Oosh is the home of giveaways, whether it's cars, cash, tech, holidays, or those all-important football club packages. Our friends at Oosh have always got you covered. Right, thank you, my friends. Right, feeling a bit generous tonight. WFM, said Izzy. Much love, Izzy. Thank you, my friend. And WFM to all of you. So any more Boston questions, put them into the chat and I'll do my best to get to them. But I can't go over the whole story again because it wouldn't be fair for the rest of the people who have joined us this evening. Right. Let me just get my notes open. Craig, big fan. My sister got 7U in the world. She's a fan. Her name is Sophia Farrell. 2.66k on Instagram. Autistic, meet the president. That's class. Much love to your sister, my friend. And she getting to meet the president. That's pretty cool. Mr. D. Higgins. He's a lovely guy, apparently. My father-in-law's met him on a few occasions. So yes, please give our regards to your sister, and I hope she's doing well. Did you see the Legends game at the weekend? No, I seen bits and pieces of it. But I was still kind of cleaning up the mess from the Boston situation, to be honest. I seen the standing ovation that Sven-Göran Eriksson got, and I have to say, Anfield did him proud. It was beautiful. It was magical to see. Yeah, it was great. Really, really great to see Sven so warmly received, and I thought he spoke very poignantly as well. Hi Craig, genuinely changed my opinion on you when I first met you at your class. All the best. Have a great night. Much love. Thank you. As I've said it before loads of times, dude, I can understand how people see a clip of me or whatever and form an opinion. I've done it of people in the past. So, yeah, I appreciate that you gave us a watch and changed your mind. It means a lot. Going to Aintree Races for the Grand National meeting and just got tickets for the Atlanta game on Thursday. Looking good. That's class, Whitehammer. Well played. The Atlanta game is, that's going to be an entertaining couple of ties, because they don't come to defend or sit back. They come to play. So it's always entertaining when you come up against Gasparini's side. So yeah, well in. And never been to horse racing. Not really something that's my cup of tea. But again, Grand National, nothing wrong with it. So well in. Suvna. Isan, I'm sorry if I mispronounce. I'm just going through all the super chats, by the way, which you guys have been awesome about. Thank you. And again, to JC, for those 50 gifted at the start. Legend, mate. And there was another one as well. Who was the other gifted that I have to thank? Alex gifted 20 as well. Absolutely legendary. Sorry to hear about your refusal to America and 7k loss. This is not much, but there's a $5 to help the money back. Mate, the money is... It's just one of them things. The real problem for me was the letting people down part. That's the only part of it. Money's money. It's shit. It stings, but, you know, it doesn't sting as much as letting people down. And as I said, I've been in and out of America 7 times. So it was it was a mistake. It was just a visa mistake. And certainly one I will never make again. Thoughts on... I don't know what that means. Craig, looking forward to meeting you in the UK shows. Thank you, Dave. Looking forward to getting them sorted out. I'll talk a little bit about them later on in the show tonight. Just watched the Inside Anfield at the Legends game. Great respect shown to Sven by everybody. Klopp was hugging him. Oh, look, Anfield showed up and gave Sven an incredible day. And obviously all the money raised for charity as well. I believe last year they raised something like £6.5 million, something like that, for the LFC Foundation. And look, it's a beautiful thing. All them ex-pros giving up their time. And of course, Fen as well. It was another great success. Full capacity as well at Anfield. So, and they won, which is great. And Nando got the winner. Well, he got the 4th. Izzy, thank you for gifting a membership. Right, I've got lots of news to get through, so I'm going to fly through it. A little bit on Chelsea, who could be in a whole world of pain. So, transfer sector, and Martin Ziegler of the Times put up a post saying the Premier League, I should say transfer sector post, Premier League is investigating alleged irregular payments related to the Willian and Eto'o deals, as well as other players between 2012 and 2019, after Chelsea's new owners self-reported them. Charges could lead to a large points deduction. Last sentence. Charges could lead to a large point deduction. Is it just me, or is the Premier League looking a bit grubby at the minute? So we've got the Everton situation. And by the way, for those of you who aren't aware, Everton are currently 1 day into a 3-day hearing for a potential second points deduction. So we'll wait and see the outcome of that next week. Also, Nottingham Forest today appealed their 4-point deduction. So that has to be worked through. We've got the whole Chelsea situation, and then a little situation you might not have heard much about with Manchester City. I believe they have, 1 or 2 charges against them. But all this has to be sorted out. But that's before we move on to the main topic of tonight's stream, which is going to be the PGMOL and why the English pundits are pussies. And I don't know what other way to say it, because I'll explain it in detail in a while. Robbie Fowler's been speaking about it. ESPN did a great segment on it over in America. Craig Burley, Frank LeBoeuf and Shaka Hislop. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't, Google it. But we'll get on to that in a while, because they're lying to us. Do you think we win the league? Absolutely, George. I'm more confident than ever that we get over the line to win the league, because they're doing everything to try and stop us, mate. Make no mistake about it. But I think we get it done. This is why you don't give an 18-year-old money, splashing it around like some Saudi prince. Thank you, Izzy. Look, it's about time for me that Chelsea finally had to face some type of questions, because for those of you who might not be aware, under Roman Abramovich's, I think, 17-year tenure, but it could be longer, Chelsea were losing about 900 grand a week, every week, for that whole time, into like, I don't know, I don't have the ability to multiply that number in my head at the minute, but a substantial amount of money being lost. And whoops, no issues, just, grand. So it's about time that I caught up with them. And then we've got Todd Bowley's chaotic transfer dealing since he's come in. Just done 100 tickets on Oosh. Wish me luck, said Robbie Salmon. Nothing but luck to you, Robbie. Yeah, fantastic, mate. At like 99 cents, or I hope you use your discount and got a discount on them. But yeah, best of luck to you, sir. And Izzy gifting another membership. Thank you. Opinion on the Belgium versus Ireland game. I thought we were solid. Obviously, Evan Ferguson missed that penalty. Couple of good saves from Queeveen as well in the game. Yeah, I thought the players looked up for it. I thought John O'Shea didn't look out of place there. Not saying give him the job permanently, but he's a great servant of Irish football. So yeah, it was encouraging. Right, let's move on to talk about the PGMOL. And I'm going to start off with a piece Robbie Fowler wrote. And this isn't all of the piece, but this is some of an opinion piece that Robbie Fowler wrote for the Mirror. And I'm going to read through it, talk a bit, and then point you in the direction of another one. But this is what Robbie Fowler had to say. Football isn't rocket science. Fans will always recognise a great goal, a defence-splitting pass, or a brilliant save. They can also spot a dodgy refereeing decision miles away. Which is why Howard Webb appears to be taking us all for fools with his rather creative takes on some of the calamitous mistakes that are happening in the Premier League. Webb's latest attempt to con us all into thinking that anybody who doesn't own a whistle, a flag or a VAR monitor doesn't really understand the game would be comical if it wasn't just another example of the lunatics taking over the asylum. The PGMOL chief did his very best to paint Jeremy Doku's chest-high challenge on Alexis McAllister in Liverpool's recent meeting with Manchester City as an innocent coming together that didn't warrant a penalty. Anybody who watched the game knew that Doku got away with one, not just in terms of referee Michael Oliver missing the offence as it happened, but in the way VAR official Stuart Atwell failed to advise him to take another look on the pitch-side monitor, despite being armed with replays from every conceivable angle. It was exactly the type of scenario that VAR was supposed to rectify. Webb expected us all to accept that a throat-threatening challenge doesn't cross that threshold until next week when it does. Or how winning the ball first and catching somebody with a follow-through is a foul this time, but next time it won't be. He goes on to say, "I'm sorry, Howard, but every time I hear you trying to explain away these decisions, you come across as a job's worth doing what he can to defend his mates. Football belongs to the fans and players, but it's been ambushed by administrators and officials who are trying to make the game perfect. They don't understand that it's those imperfections that make football what it is. Do I trust the bureaucrats to do the right thing and ditch VAR? Not when the refereeing profession appears to have become jobs for the boys and girls, he puts in brackets. I'm not one for conspiracy theories. I don't believe for 1 second that referees are anything but sincere in the way they go about their business on the pitch, but VAR has given them a get-out clause. If they make a mistake and it isn't corrected at Stockley Park, they can't be blamed. As an added insurance policy, they have an old mate as the boss in the television studio trying to sell us the idea that everything is actually on point." Now, at this point, I want to say thank you, Robbie Fowler. Thank you, mate. Thank you for having the courage that many others don't have to speak out. And it wasn't just Mr. Robbie Fowler that was appalled by the explanation and the state of the way Howard Webb came on mic'd up. I got sent a clip of ESPN, which of course I don't get here in Ireland, but I was able to watch this clip. And it was Craig Burley, Frank LeBoeuf and Shaka Hislop. And Craig Burley was scathing in his criticism of Howard Webb, saying he'd wipe the floor with him if he was in the ESPN studio. The world's finally starting to cop on, and we need to keep this pressure up because they are telling us that what we are seeing with our own eyes is not the truth. What is the point of Michael Owen being on mic'd up? He's supposed to be there to ask Howard Webb the questions that everybody has, but he doesn't because he's a coward. He's either a coward or he's not allowed to ask the opinions. So where's all the English pundits? Why are none of them speaking up? Why is it that I have to tune in to see Roy Keane, Micah Richards, Jamie Redknapp, Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher all laughing and joking and patting each other on the back while the game that they profess to love is being destroyed in front of them? But not one of them, not one, has the courage to speak out. Craig Burley, in his ESPN piece, said as much, calling them meek, calling them weak, and he's right, they are. They're either too scared to be removed from their positions, or worse, they're not allowed to speak up. I don't know the answer. I don't know which one it is, but I know I'm sick to death of seeing my club and many other clubs and their fans' hopes, dreams and ambitions destroyed by the ineptitude, at best, of Howard Webb and his band of merry morons in the PGMOL. We deserve better. You deserve better. And as I keep trying to say, we need to remove tribalism from this debate because every week it happens, you get the opposition fans laughing at you. Next week it'll be another club they're laughing at. But all the time, we're being laughed at by those in power who are changing the game and taking it away from us right in front of our eyes. We need to come together. We need to speak out. I don't get on with a lot of people in my industry, and I'm sure that they don't like me. But it's going to take all of us, whether you're a content creator, a blogger, somebody who makes TikToks, somebody who writes articles. We all need to start calling this out, because it isn't an accident. We can see it. We know a foul when we see one. We know that we're being shafted. Listen to the VAR audio from Stuart Atwell, and he said, both players go in high. Excuse me? Both players go in high, and nobody pulled him up on that. One of them went in high. The other one got studs in his chest. The mental gymnastics that these idiots are using to con the public are shambolic. They're not even clever enough to con us properly. This stuff about Doku got the ball first. No, he didn't. I pointed that out many times. Now it's being picked up and others are pointing it out. McAllister got to the ball first. They both went in high. No, they didn't. But Michael Owen, did he once question Howard Webb on that? Did he once push back on behalf of the footballing public? So my question is, these ex-pros, who are you looking out for? The fans? The stakeholders in the game? Or your own backs? Grow a pair. Speak up. Do what you're supposed to do. Be pundits. Speak on behalf of the game. Articulate the opinions of people involved in the game. Not hide behind laughing, banter with your mates. Because you're no worse, or no better I should say, than the same idiots in the PGMOL who are laughing at the rest of us. We need to be helped here. And if you can't do it, step aside. That'll be Man City's punishment for breaching FFP. They'll have to give back the Premier League trophy. Robbie Fowler speaks the truth, and the truth hurts, said Robbie Salmon. Yes, I was incredibly... John Aldridge, by the way, was similar. Fair play to John Aldridge. He spoke up about this nonsense as well. Why isn't nobody in England, that is an actual pundit on TV, has the courage to do this? They're trying to justify decisions that we all know are wrong. Keep at them, Craig. Sellouts protect status quo. And look, I know I'm not alone here. I know there's some people who are going to laugh at me about this piece. But I know that there are others who are going, don't like this guy, but he's got a point. Because I do. But I can't do it on my own. You can't do it on your own. We need to come together. Look at what we can do. Look at the Super League. It doesn't matter what channel it is. Me, United channels, Arsenal channels, doesn't matter. Everybody came together and said, we don't want this. This is not our sport. We need to do the same again. Or we're going to have moments where Martin Odegaard goes full on Harlem Globetrotters, but he doesn't even get sent to the monitor. But Curtis Jones rolls his foot over the top of the ball and they can't bring the ref to the monitor quick enough to send them off. And it's not just Liverpool. I'm not trying to say this is a Liverpool problem. This is a football problem. Specifically in this instance, this is an English football problem. Lost all respect for Michael Owen when he signed for the Manx, said Desi. Look, Michael Owen was an incredible footballer. But Michael Owen as a pundit is awful. Awful. And he hasn't got a backbone. He stood there while Howard Webb shafted his former club in front of him, and he didn't have the backbone to speak up or challenge Howard Webb. Instead, they sat there and stood there and laughed together. Nonsense. Can't do your job, Owen. Piss off and let somebody with a backbone do it for you. And as for Sky, don't even get me started on Sky. They profess to love the game and they're allowing it to be destroyed. They bring in somebody as a refereeing pundit who admitted not doing his job. Admitted not doing his job because he didn't want to get his mate in trouble. Didn't care about the integrity of the game. Didn't care about the result. Didn't care about the blatant foul on Cucurella. Just wanted to protect his mate. So what do Sky do? They say, this is the bastion of morality that we're going to put on television every single week to explain refereeing decisions. This same fool that didn't do his job is being rewarded with a role as a pundit. Make that make sense. In what other world are idiots rewarded with promotions and cushy jobs? Mike Dean should have been charged, in my opinion, for failing to do his job and admitting for failing to do his job. But no, he gets a cushy number. And that is what's wrong with football. You can't ask for all fans to con together, I think he meant come, when you can't admit Jones should have been sent off for the same reason the pen against Doku. See, Ian, I don't know you from Adam, mate. I don't know if we've ever spoken before. But here's my problem with what you've said. Rather than addressing an issue, and by the way, all you've done is make my point for me. You've pointed out another instance, in your opinion, where a referee hasn't done his job. So rather than come back at me, you've gone to whataboutery, which is always the argument of an idiot. The argument of somebody who hasn't got any skin in the game or hasn't got the intellect to come back and debate. So if that's all you're going to resort to, I've got no time for you. If you want to explain why you feel Jones should have been sent off and the ref did something wrong, by all means, I'm all ears. Let's talk about it. But don't go to whataboutery, mate. Let's discuss what we're discussing. The standard of officiating. This isn't an anti-Manchester City debate. This is an anti the state of officiating. And I'm speaking for every football fan, every football club. This is not a Liverpool-centric problem as much as you try to get into whataboutery, which is, as I said, the reaction of an idiot. Where did Fowler say what he said? It's on the Echo, mate, and he also wrote the piece for the Mirror. So if you want to have a look, it's on the Echo site, and it's also a piece he wrote for the Mirror. Paul Tierney gets no game this weekend after he messed up a drop ball, and yet Oliver... I know, but here's the thing that gets me, right? On both the... And I can only speak for Liverpool here because, you know, I only have knowledge of the Liverpool games, really. On both the big instances this season where we've played Arsenal and Manchester City and should have had nailed on penalties, the referee wasn't sent to the monitor once. Why? Why was the ref not sent to the monitor? You know the answer. I know the answer. But a lot of people won't say it out loud. The referee wasn't sent to the monitor because Stuart Atwell knew damn well that if he was sent to the monitor, he would have given a penalty. That's why. Why was the Odegaard decision not sent to the monitor? Any idiot that's ever played football knows that was a penalty. But hey, no sent to the monitor. But when they want to shaft somebody, then all of a sudden the threshold changes. And it's, go over to the monitor and have a look at this very, very straightforward challenge here that we're trying to invent as a red card. So, Ian, you're part of the problem because you're allowing the behaviour. See what I mean? Rather than address the situation, Ian, you go to point fingers. You go in to say, what about? So you're part of the problem. Right, some more news to get through. Queen Nadra, I wonder why it happens to Liverpool only. Now, to be fair, Queen Nadra, I'm not saying it just happens to Liverpool. Just before the international break, West Ham were shafted out of a goal. At least one. And it happens to, ask Forest, I'm sure they have many instances. United fans will have their own. Arsenal fans will have their own. City fans won't have any because they never seem to get decisions that go against them, really, let's be honest. Wonder why that would be. I don't know. It's not like referees have been going over to UAE or anything to referee handy little nixers or anything like that, is it? Can we get Howard Webb on Anfield Agenda? Oh, God. I would love that. I would love that. Right, Virgil was speaking a little bit about Jurgen Klopp and his departure, and this is what the captain had to say. I'm quite an emotional person and I always find it difficult to say goodbye to somebody. It's not just the manager who goes, it's more people. Pep Linders, important person in the staff, and I could go on and on. Saying goodbye is not something I'm looking forward to, but we can make it very nice by winning prizes together. That's the way life is. You can you see each other at the club almost daily, when even more than your own wife and children. You experience highs together, but also difficult moments. That creates a bond that is very close, especially at a club like Liverpool, one big family. And then after a few years, it's suddenly over. I hope, but I'm actually quite sure, that the club manages to preserve that unique atmosphere of mutual connection for the future. That last line is what gives me confidence that Verge wants to stay and wants to extend. And yeah, that makes me feel pretty good. Did you see Plettenberg saying that if Alonso leaves, it'll only be to Bayern? Yeah, I'll address that in a minute, Ellis. Don't worry. I have got a bit here on Florian Plettenberg and on the managerial situation. A little bit on De Zerbi and a little bit to come on Ruben Amorim as well. So yeah, I will get to that in a moment, my man. Just want to read through some of your comments. The Odegaard handball, even the Arsenal players stopped for a second expecting the whistle to go. It was incredibly obvious, mate, that one. Wolves against Manchester United. Yeah, are we talking about the Onana punch where he came out and cleaned out everybody but the ball? Yes, that was another one that should have been given. Look, every club. I'm not saying that this is an anti-Liverpool thing. I'm saying this is just an anti-fairness thing. Not really aimed at us alone. Referees should be fined, fired and rotated. For me, Coach Bill, and I've said this for a very long time, is it natural that maybe some officials will have had bad experiences or a distaste towards clubs? Well, yes. When you're in a regional situation like the UK, it is a potential that referees may have even subconscious biases. So, for me, I like the idea of UEFA having a group of officials that go around the top 5 leagues, week in, week out, rotating around and getting a flavour of different styles of football, broadening the refereeing horizons, and also hopefully removing some of the potential, I don't want to say biases, but dislike that some referees clearly have with certain managers. Craig, would you like the idea of foreign referees refereeing our games, or do you think the PGMOL of that? I don't want to read that word because I don't want to get you or me in trouble. I don't understand how the PGMOL have seemingly got nobody to answer to. I know that the Premier League and the FA work with them and they are the refereeing body, but they're not fit for purpose. I'm getting to the point for myself where I'm almost get rid of VAR. And I didn't think I'd get to that point. But it feels, at least at this moment in time, like VAR is there to punish certain situations. And then when they don't punish a situation or they bottle a decision, we get the clear and obvious threshold nonsense. Which is just, it's not definable. Nobody knows what it is. It's just vibes. So the whole thing stinks to high heaven. And remember why it was brought in. It was brought in to try and stop debates and stop you and your mates down the pub having an argument over offside, onside or a foul in the build-up. But it hasn't done that. All it's done is increase it and make the game even less appealing, make it more stop-start and take away more goals in a game that should be fast-paced and free-flowing. Just reread what Fowler states and he's spot on, said Adam. Literally saying what we all feel. Only issue is one voice isn't enough. Others in the game need to speak up. Adam, my friend, I'm with you. I'm right there with you, mate. And that's why I highlighted the ESPN piece that Craig Burley, Frank LeBoeuf and Shaka Hislop did. All of them laughed at the state of Howard Webb on Mic'd Up. Laughed at the thought processes. Laughed at the decision. Every one of them said it was a stonewall penalty. It's you know, it's like we all have politicians, and I'm not going to name a particular politician, that just keep repeating the same lines over and over and over and over again in the hope that eventually people just start to take it for fact. And that's what I feel Howard Webb and the PGMOL are doing. Their thought processes are disgraceful. Like, again, I'm going to ask a question, and I really would like an answer from anybody in the chat. Stuart Atwell saying both players went in high. Can anybody make hiding ahead of that? Can anybody explain that to me? Both guys go in high, and then he says okay, and nobody calls him on it. So Doku goes in foot up, and McAllister jumps and turns a little bit like this. His feet nowhere. Both players went in high. He's saying stuff that isn't even happening, and Michael Owen doesn't have the nuts to call him on it. They go, hang on, Howard. He said both went in high. They didn't. Hang on, Howard. He said Doku gets a touch on the ball first. He didn't. None of that. Why? And why is it we always have to just listen to idiots telling us that we're salty? or never our fault, or always the victims? Is it quite possible that maybe, just maybe, we have a point? Anyway, I want to move on to speak about Ruben Amorim for a second. Lewis Steele again has written a piece, and I slightly disagree with Lewis Steele here on one point. He said Liverpool would have to pay £25 million to Sporting Lisbon to recruit Ruben Amorim this summer. This would be a world record fee in compensation for a manager. Now, he's not wrong on one part of it. I believe maybe he doesn't have the full information. To my understanding, Ruben Amorim's buyout clause reduces to about £17 million this summer. At least that's my understanding of it. Now, Sporting Lisbon paid, at the time, I think it was the third highest ever fee to recruit Ruben Amorim. They paid €10 million to bring him to the club. And those of you that had a chance to watch some of the videos that I put up over the international break, I hope you enjoyed them. I very much enjoyed making them. There was one on Ruben Amorim, Xabi Alonso, Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes. And I really enjoyed making them, and I hope that you picked up some little bits of information from them. But it does seem like Amorim is the head and shoulders second candidate above Alonso. But let's move on to Florian Plettenberg, because somebody in the chat asked me about it. And did I see Florian Plettenberg speaking? Yes. And he just keeps putting that foot in his mouth every time he opens it. So he said again that Bayern Munich have held conversations with Xabi Alonso. It's funny that, because Bayern Munich themselves have publicly said that those negotiations or those conversations haven't taken place. And the view, and I say this because it was written in an article, the view from British-based journalists is very, very different to those coming out of Florian Plettenberg and Sky Germany's mouths. I disagree with Florian Plettenberg wholeheartedly, and I think he's full of it. I'm going to go that far. I think he's full of it. And when he's proven to be full of it, I hope he gets what's coming to him from a reaction perspective, because let's look at it logically. Why would Xabi Alonso leave, if he's going to leave a club in Germany, why would he leave a club that he's just delivered the league title to go to a team that's in disarray, a team that has fighting behind the scenes, that some of their top players want to leave, and a team that have gone through a load of managers in recent years, given none of them, including Julian Nagelsmann, time? It doesn't make sense. And another thing that was labelled is that he deems the job too big, that he looks at the shadow cast by Jurgen Klopp and is worried about it. Really? That's what you think of Xabi Alonso? Because not for 1 second do I think Alonso is daunted by the idea of taking over from Jurgen Klopp. Not for a second. You don't win World Cups, European Championships, La Liga titles, European Cups by being scared. And I'll cast your mind back to something that was said, and I can't remember who said this, but somebody said the next Liverpool manager is going to be one that has balls, that isn't afraid to go toe-to-toe. So don't worry about what Plettenberg says, because he's talking out of his hoop at the minute. He's just... There's a reason why propaganda works. You say the same thing over and over again, people believe it to be fact. Look at Real Madrid and every player they ever court. Every single Madrid mouthpiece is out there with the same lines. That this player or that player wants to come to Madrid, is going to come to Madrid. They say it over and over and over in the hope that everybody else goes, no point in us trying here. Already made his mind up. And the same is going on right now with the situation with Xabi Alonso. Plettenberg and Sky Germany and everybody associated with Bayern from a fan perspective hopes that when they keep saying the same stuff over and over again, everybody else goes, oh well, no point in trying. But here's the thing. We've done ours the right way. Liverpool have registered the interest. Liverpool will speak when the time is right. And I fully believe that Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, and whoever else is involved in these negotiations will get their man. Simple as that. And until we know one way or the other, we just got to bide our time and wait. I get it. It's nerve-wracking. I'll profess that sometimes I wake up and I see stuff and it worries me as well. But it's only coming from one direction. Now, if I was hearing, let's say, Jan Fjørtoft or Guillaume Balaguer, or then to our side, Paul Joyce, James Pearce, Simon Hughes. If I was hearing all these, Melissa Reddy, say, yeah, he favours Bayern, then I would take a step back. But not one of them that I'm aware of has backed up Plettenberg's comments. Again, for those asking about why I'm here and not in Boston, I explained at the start of the video. So if you get a chance later on, rewind it back. Long story short, we weren't allowed into Boston for a visa mistake. That's why I'm here. Alonso's not coming. Okay, well, it was nice knowing you, Daryl. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. Whoever gifted you that membership, sorry, but Daryl, no time for you, mate. No time for negative. No time for delusion. You know? So, off you pop. Go somewhere else, mate. I honestly can't be arsed listening to your shite. You don't know that he's not coming. The same way I don't know that he's definitely coming. But I don't need negativity, mate. The club doesn't need negativity. We need people who actually, you know, have a positive mindset. And yeah, so off you pop. Richard Hughes has a very good relationship with Alonso's agent. Yes, he does. No, I wouldn't go as far as say very good. Like, I don't, you know, think that they're on the old Christmas card list or whatever. But he did bring in Iriola, who was represented by the same agency as Xabi Alonso. Absolutely. And look, people that I've spoken to from a journalistic side, still very confident of Alonso to Liverpool. In fact, as early as today, I think there was a piece, I can't remember if it was on The Athletic or somewhere, that spoke about this situation. There is one thing, though, that is kind of at the back of my mind. I do, from what I've been able to gather as well, I think Michael Edwards does have a really big soft spot for Ruben Amorim. I think he's a big fan of Amorim's work and his the way he conducts himself. So, look, at this point, honestly, I think, who was it in our Discord said it earlier? I think it was Ryan in our Discord said it earlier on. Now that we've got Edwards back involved, running things, and Richard Hughes underneath him, I feel confident that whomever the next manager is chosen will be the right one. I have that much faith in Michael Edwards' work and that he'll leave no stone unturned. The more I researched into Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes for those videos, the more impressed I've become with the mindset, the character, the determination, and the way that they both operate. I feel we're in good hands. I do. I feel we're in good hands. International football has been a disgrace. A lot of players are injured. There was no point of it. Yeah, I seen Darwizi that even Gareth Southgate was saying that an unprecedented injury crisis for him as England manager. Like, there is a crazy amount, and a lot of people have issues with this particular international break, the March one, because yeah, I think, who was it? I'm trying to think back. I can't remember which ex-United player it was said that Alex Ferguson, this was the one international break that, I think maybe it was Gary Neville, said that this was the international break that drove Ferguson mad. Because at that time, United were obviously going for, you know, league titles, European Cups, FA Cups or whatever. And at the business end of the season, when it's really heating up, this pointless international break comes in. Yes, there's been a couple of games like playoffs for the Euro spots from the Nations League. Fair enough. But most of them are pretty pointless friendlies that could easily be done away with. It's a joke. I hate this international break. It feels like no benefit can come of it. Everybody, no matter who you support, are fingers crossed right now, just hoping your players come back injury free. Philip said, Richard Keys has said his sources say Alonso has agreed to come to Liverpool. Again, I truly don't know the answer, you know. And unlike Plettenberg, you know, I'll be honest to say I don't know. But look, I kind of get it to some extent. Plettenberg's German, he's a Bayern fan, he wants it to happen. I get it. But when you've got that Sky microphone in front of you, it's important that you keep your integrity. And I don't feel that he's acting in good faith. Who did I vote for in the Hall of Fame? I didn't, but let me just say this. I've seen that Ashley Cole got into the Hall of Fame today. Very deserving. Ashley Cole is without a doubt, one of the best fullbacks the Premier League's ever seen. No argument whatsoever. Obviously, didn't play for any club that I support, but as a player, incredible. Incredible. Very deserving to be put into the Premier League Hall of Fame. No qualms about that whatsoever. Top quality player. I wish the international football didn't exist, at least friendlies. I don't enjoy it. Players get injured and it's a waste of time. It pretty much feels like a waste of time at the minute. This international break. Let me just get through more notes here. What's this one? So again, Lewis Steele reporting on the Trent Alexander-Arnold situation said, at this stage, there's nothing to seriously worry as Trent Alexander-Arnold has given no indication that he wants to join Real Madrid. But it does remain a pivotal issue that new sporting director Richard Hughes will want to resolve before. So let me give you one quick story about Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards. People who watch the videos, everything you need to know about, will know where I'm going with this. But Michael Edwards started off his data work with Prozone. Now at the time, Prozone were a fledgling company, quite a small company with a lot of part-time employees. And he was working at Portsmouth. And that's where he first came across Richard Hughes. And Richard Hughes was one of the few players perhaps that bought in to the analytical side of football at that time, because it was still in its infancy. It was still really new. And Michael Edwards used to have an office that some players came in and out of. Some players didn't buy into the philosophy around the analytics. Some did. And Richard Hughes was a player that did. And that's where their friendship started to blossom. Now, obviously, Michael Edwards has gone on, worked at Spurs, came to Liverpool, spent 10 or 11 years with us, departed, set up Luton Audits with Dr. Ian Graham, and is now coming back to become CEO of football for FSG. And of course, Richard Hughes is a trusted lieutenant. So, to those people that have concerns about Richard Hughes' ability to work in the market or the track record of the players he brought in, I'd say take it with a pinch of salt, because the guy that we all worship, Michael Edwards, and let's be honest, most of us think the man's pretty impressive in what he does, well, he started off in a very, very low rung of the ladder himself and worked his way up, just like Richard Hughes. So, if Michael Edwards wants Richard Hughes, I've got nothing in me that doubts that Richard Hughes will come in and work well. So, I think we honestly have got the dream team there. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, seeing who the manager is they bring in. Hopefully it's Alonso, to see what the recruitment is like. I'm really optimistic about it since the appointment of Edwards and Hughes. How was Boston, Craig? I don't know, dude. I wasn't allowed in. So yeah, we'll move on. Would I accept Southgate as Ireland manager? No. I wouldn't, mate. I'd rather give it to John O'Shea. I'd accept Southgate as the United manager. Brilliant. Absolutely spot on. Make that happen. A little bit here from Lewis Steele again. This time it's about De Zerbi. And Lewis Steele said, Liverpool and Bayern are both also interested in Roberto De Zerbi. New sporting director Richard Hughes is a massive fan of the Italian and tried to bring him to Bournemouth when Scott Parker left 2 years ago, only for an ownership lag to thwart his charge. Now, I've got to say, I'm not on the Roberto De Zerbi hype train for Liverpool. I respect what he's done as a manager, but he doesn't strike me as a Liverpool manager. I don't know, maybe it's just me. You know, there's something there that just doesn't sit well with me as a manager of Liverpool. I just don't know if he has that instant connection. I enjoy watching his teams play football, I can say that, but to come in after Klopp, I don't know. I'd feel a bit more concerned if it was De Zerbi. Can I do a show in Portlaoise? I see you've asked that quite a bit and I haven't ignored it. I've just been waiting because I am going to talk about shows for a second. So can I do a show in Portlaoise? Probably not, because I don't think the catchment area would be that big. But what I'm hoping to be able to announce really soon is 3 new shows. We have provisionally, that's the right word, we've provisionally booked Cardiff for August the 2nd. We're waiting to hear back from the venue tomorrow about they're doing some upgrades in the venue. They're just making sure that they aren't going to be working on it that week. And once we get that confirmation tomorrow, we'll book in the Cardiff show for August 2nd. Now, what I'm hoping to do is 2 days either side of that show. So either 2 days before or 2 days after, to book in a Liverpool show. So whether that's Warrington or Liverpool City Centre or somewhere around that, that's the plan. So we have got the Cardiff one provisionally booked, and we're looking to book a Liverpool one for either the 31st of July or the 4th of August. Now, Belfast, I'm waiting to hear back from the venue. I emailed them. I'm hoping to try and get the Belfast show done 2 days after the Europa League final. So Belfast, Cardiff and Liverpool are 3 shows that I hope in the next week we can announce. Love the new intro. Thank you, Lisa. It came from our friends at 44 Tunes. Massive shout out to those guys. If you don't know who 44 Tunes are, thank me later. But yeah, our friends at 44 Tunes helped us out with that cartoon of myself and Newlon. And again, eternally grateful for the great work and the great work that they do on the platform as well. Has Klopp signed or extended his contract 2 years in Liverpool? I don't know what you mean by that, Derek. He extended his contract previously, and as much as it was reported that Klopp signed to 2026, when Klopp announced his departure, it started to come out then that his contract was actually till 2025 with the option of another year. So that's where we are with Kloppo, and I don't know what happens after Jurgen departs. You know, he says he's going to take a year off. I don't know what happens there. Have I seen the movie Moneyball? Yes, of course. You said that will explain how FSC operate. Yes and no. It's not fully transferable to football, but I'm not against the idea of data and analytics being used as part of the overall picture for signings or the way to operate. So yeah, I've seen it's a great movie actually. I've seen it a few times, and actually learning about Billy Bean is quite the journey when you start reading up on it. If you can make it to Hawaii, I'll host you at the Halekoa U.S. military-owned hotel. Sweet. If ever I get to get myself over to Hawaii, then that's it. Look, I'm hoping I've still got Vegas sorted for October, but that's just a holiday, no work on that one, so it should be okay to get a holiday visa there. Right, X-Pulse U said, Craig, I feel in two minds about the new manager. I want Alonso, but I think that Ruben would be a better fit for some reason. So I get where you're coming from. I want to say I'm the same as you, but Alonso's my number one. But I do think Ruben Amorim is the best of the rest by quite a way at the minute. The interesting one, and I guess the joker in the pack here somewhat, might be Julian Nagelsmann, because there's kind of mixed signals coming out of Germany. They're offering him, or at least they're hoping to talk to him about potentially extending his contract past the Euros, but I don't know if that's because of that very good victory over Germany in the friendly, very good victory over France in the friendly. I don't know, because I think they probably have Kloppo eyed up to be the next German manager, and there was already some talks that March could be the time where they make that move for Jurgen. But I don't know. I'm not that close to German football. Why did the Boston show get cancelled? Because we were denied entry by the Department of Homeland Security for an incorrect visa, even though we'd registered, mate, for our tax with the IRS, our withholding tax forms, everything. We thought we'd done everything correctly, and then we needed a P1 visa for a performance, apparently, which most people could go in under an ESTA, and it's a 90-day visa waiver where you're allowed to conduct business and holiday in America, but the type of business is specific, and I got confused and made a mistake on that, thinking that covered us to do the show, but it didn't. So that's why, mate. Craig, I'm travelling between DK and US every second week, and Border Patrol is a serious move. Move on, you're doing great. Watch your show in Denmark and in the US. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Great to have you in. And Denmark's defo a country I need to visit someday. I've only ever heard good things. Expensive, apparently, but very good. Who would be your number one summer pick? For a player? Probably Wirtz. Probably Wirtz. Wirtz and Musiala are two players I love. Did you see Florian Wirtz's goal, by the way, for Germany against France? What was it? 8 seconds? Something like that. And it still wasn't the quickest goal that night, because it was a goal scored in 6 seconds, I think, which I believe is the fastest goal ever scored in international football. But what a strike that was for Wirtz. Can you do a poll for both managers? Absolutely, Robbie. No problem, mate. Let me get that up for you. 1 second. One second, mate. I'm just putting the... I'm going to stick a third option in here, actually, as well. Right, so, as per Robbie's request, who would you like as manager? Alonso, Amorim, and I stuck in De Zerbi, just to see. What happening in Warrington? We're waiting to hear back. We have a request in to book a venue in Warrington that we're looking at to do a live show in August. But I'll give you more information when I hear back and we know about availability and stuff like that. You live near Warrington, cool. Well, hopefully you make it if we can put the show on. I hope we can. I mean, it looks like an ideal place. So yeah, let's wait and see if we hear back from them. I emailed, I think, 4 other venues in Liverpool over the last week. Not one of them has even responded to us, which is, I don't know, frustrating, but... Arian said, Alonso, first choice for me, Craig. Second choice, De Zerbi. I don't want Amorim at all. How come? I mean, it's an interesting point, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just genuinely intrigued. Is it that you don't know enough about Amorim, or something about his style or the way he carries himself isn't one that you think would work at Liverpool? Let me just say as well, I want to say a massive thank you to you all for making tonight nice, because I was nervous. I won't lie, I've said it in my Discord for the last 2 days. I don't like letting people down. And I needed... I've been at home since Thursday when we were supposed to travel. And I've just been processing everything over the entire weekend and trying to, move past it all. And coming on tonight to be met with such positivity and kindness. Again, I want to say thank you. It means a lot. I should expect no less from you guys, to be fair. But it was a tough one tonight to come back in. It's always tough after a break to just get back into the rhythm of it. But to come back in and, under the circumstances we had and be met with such kindness means a lot to us. So thank you. Oh, and also, Goldbridge, can you please keep my name out of your mouth? Thanks very much. Appreciate that. No one's jealous of you. No one's ever been jealous of you. And I've warned you many times, mate. You don't want to open up this can of worms. So just keep my name out of your trap. Thank you. Apparently, Nagelsmann scores very highly on the scale Edwards uses. Look, Nagelsmann is a promising young coach. What worries me about Nagelsmann is I don't want to say failures he's had already, because I think that sounds harsh. But, he's already turned over quite a few clubs at such a young age. And I'm not convinced on him yet. I think he needs either a good spell with the German national team or something else to convince me. But look, he doesn't need to convince me. I'm just giving you my own perspective on him. But look, he should be in the conversation. Absolutely, he should be a coach that Liverpool are looking at. Josh said, you've made my day seeing you back. Been stuck in hospital with my little girl since Thursday. She had major surgery. Oh, dude. Dude, I hope she's okay. Give her all of our love. And I hope surgery went well and that she's home with you and the family soon. Above all else, mate, that's the priority right now. So, thank you. And thank you for being with us. But again, all of our love, mate, to your young lady. I hope she's back with you soon. Andrew, thank you, mate, for becoming a member of Anfield Agenda FC. Appreciate you. Was the Forest fan mouthing off? Somebody told me, he was just saying, this delusion that he has that anyone's jealous of him is mental. But fair play to him. He's the only guy in the history of the world who's never made a mistake. And I genuinely, that I'm jealous of, because, I make mistakes all the time and own up to them. But for his good self, to have never made a mistake and it to always be everybody else's fault and always bitterness and jealousy and not his actions. I mean, he's a special dude, so fair play to him, Someday, maybe I can be that amazing and never at fault. But, I'm a mere human, so unlike his own self, I occasionally do make mistakes. When is Alisson back? Unsure is the honest answer. The hope is second week of April. But I don't want to give you false information yet, so I don't know. When did I get home? On Thursday at about 2 o'clock. What was the other one? There was another question there I wanted to get back to. Have you seen Girth on turf? You're in it. I've no idea what it is. Girth makes me think it's a fat shaming thing. I've no idea what the hell it is. So no, I don't know what it is. There was something else I wanted to get to there. Nope, I can't. Salah on international duty. That was it. No, he isn't. Liverpool did get the nod from Egypt not to send him. So no, he isn't on international duty. What players will be back for the weekend's game? The hope, well, obviously Gravenberch is back. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head now. I remember Jota and Trent were supposed to be 1 week after this, so hopefully Jones maybe. I'll get more information in the coming days, but we just have to get the boys back from international duty, and then of course we'll get more thoughts and information as we build up to the weekend. So as soon as I get more info on it, of course I'll let you know. Are you going to be live on Wednesday? Yes, I'm not going to be live tomorrow because myself, Connor, my wife and Connor's partner are going out for dinner as a kind of commiserations that we didn't get into Boston. We're going out for a meal tomorrow night together, so won't be live tomorrow, but we will be back Wednesday, and then from Wednesday we'll be back as per normal every single day, twice a day. Where's this Alonso to Madrid coming from? I'd seen that pop up a little bit over the last couple of days as well. Truth is, I don't know, because I don't believe that Ancelotti's going anywhere at the minute. I think he's another year on his deal, so no idea. I've no concrete information to say that they're looking to bring him in right now. I don't know the answer, in all honesty. Ever think of doing a show in Belfast? I'm waiting to hear back from a venue right now. We're looking at booking a show in Belfast for 2 days after the scheduled Europa League final. So, yeah, as soon as we'll hope to announce a Belfast show in the next week or two. As soon as we get the venue booked, I'll be letting you know. But Belfast, Cardiff and Liverpool are 3. Belfast would hopefully be May, and Cardiff and Liverpool will be August, the start of August. Eddie Cox Wilkins, thank you for the super sticker, I think, mate, or chat. You didn't put a comment in, but thank you nonetheless. What is this Trent to Real Madrid nonsense? There's been a couple of pieces about it. So Real Madrid are interested in Trent, but from our perspective, it looks like we don't really have to be overly concerned about Trent because he wants to go on, become Liverpool captain someday and stay here. But their interest is sincere. I don't know if they'll come in with an offer or if they'll have been rebuffed already by Trent's representatives. But I guess until Liverpool get Trent tied down to a new deal, that looming presence of Madrid is going to be there because, Trent's 25 now, coming into his peak, already achieved so much in the game. And with just 1 year left on his Liverpool deal at the end of this season, you expect them to be hovering around. But everything that I've read and every journalist comments that I've seen seem optimistic and positive on the Trent aspect. So I don't think we have anything to worry about there. Sorry I'm late. Would you take Nagelsmann? Kind of unsure on Nagelsmann. I'm sort of somewhat on the fence. Now, I will admit that I got off to a bad start with Julian Nagelsmann because I didn't like him when he came with Hoffenheim for the Champions League qualifier. I thought he was a little bit cocky and disrespectful towards the Anfield effect, but maybe I misjudged them. Troy said, Craig, I hate AFTV. Robbie's and others yap a lot. I don't watch it, so I don't feel it's fair for me to really comment on AFTV. Yeah. Look, there's loads of different content creators that make loads of different styles of content, and what I always say is there'll be something for everyone. So this girth and turf thing, I'm still trying to figure out what that was. Can somebody fill me in on that in the chat? Lash a burger or something emoji beside it and I'll catch my attention. I mean, if it's something to tell me I'm fat, shock horror, I'm aware. Claude was a gem. Yes, I had the pleasure of getting to know Claude and spoke with him a lot, and a true gent, as you said, and very fond of Liverpool as well. Always remembered the applause Liverpool fans gave those Arsenal players when they won the league First Division at Anfield in that 2-0 win. How much do you pay for your Sky package? So all in, it's about, I think we got a discount on it now to about 186, but that's like broadband as well. We've got 1 gigabyte, is that what it's called? Or I don't know what the fuck it is. 1 gigabyte broadband and Sky Sports and Netflix and a few other things. I see about 186 there or thereabouts. Did you see that somebody said Salah's not a world-class player? Yeah, that person is what we like to call technically a moron. If imagine saying Salah wasn't a world-class player. Like, come on now. So 7 seasons in a row of 20 plus goals. But firstly, he's not a striker. He's a wide attacker. But okay. Did I watch the Legends game? No, I didn't. I seen bits and pieces of it. I seen the goals and I seen the standing ovation and I seen for Sven and I seen Sven's press conference afterwards. I thought it was very poignant, and I thought that Anfield showed up for Sven and gave him that special moment. And fair play to everyone at the club as well. Do you know how I can watch La Liga games? I get them on Premier Sport, but are they not on UTV or something in England? See, I don't have ITV or UTV, so I get a lot of the La Liga games on Premier Sport. Oh, it's a title for some game. Oh, fair enough. Then I don't know, mate. Fair enough. But no, I didn't see it. Whatever the thing was. Lee Gunner doesn't think Salah's a world-class player. Does he not? In my conversations with him, I don't ever remember. Now, I'm not saying Lee hasn't said that, but I mean, I was only chatting to Lee 2 days ago. We were exchanging messages on a few content things, and I don't know. Look, anybody who doesn't think Salah's a world-class player, obviously I very, very firmly disagree with. I don't get how you could get to not think he's a world-class player, but look, as I said, everybody's entitled to their opinions. We just don't have to listen to the ones we disagree with, really. I think Salah is sleeping in every game when he returns from injury. I think he's struggling. I don't like the lack of... One thing Salah's always done is track back and worked hard and helped out his defence. But in the last few games, I don't know if it's fatigue, struggling to come back from that injury, but he hasn't looked... or he hasn't been asked, perhaps, to come back and help out as much. And it was very apparent against United that we were lacking there. Thoughts on some Arsenal fan trying to say Saka is better than Salah? My thoughts are that they don't believe that, because he isn't. He could be. Saka's a great player. But look, football fans are a mad old bunch. And sometimes we overhype our own players. Sometimes we over-criticise our own players. But look, everyone's entitled to an opinion. I don't know how you can say he's better than Salah when not one fellow professional in that league would agree. But he is a great player, young Saka. But he's still got development to do, and that's normal. He's still young. And I hold him in very high regard as a football player. But to say he's better than Salah is just nonsense. Thoughts on the England flag on the new shirts? Yeah, it's interesting, the whole England St. George's Cross thing, because even removing the change of colour to the back of the collar and putting it back to red instead of the three colours that it is still wouldn't make it a St. George's flag. There's no white on the background. So it's a difficult one. I think Gareth Southgate spoke very well on it, and I agree with him. The 3 lions is what's on the shirt. The 3 lions is synonymous with the English FA and the English national team. Now, I'm Irish. I don't have any right to tell people how to feel about their national flag or an alteration to it. It isn't my place to say so. So I'm going to kind of steer clear of that. But yeah, no, I'm just going to stay clear of it. It's not my place to talk about it. I'm not English, so, I said not my place to speak about it. But simply, just really simply, it stops becoming St. George's flag when it's changed. So it isn't. It isn't St. George's flag. So from that regard, I don't think there's any need for such a fuss over it. Just don't recognise it as that flag. But as I said, I'm not English, so I don't really have a right to give too much of an opinion on it. Did I watch the Ireland match? And how was Boston? No more of the Boston stuff, if you don't mind. Rewind back to the start of the stream later, I explained it all. And the Ireland match, I thought we did well. Yeah, I thought we did well. Obviously, Evan Ferguson will feel he should have scored the penalty. But other than that, I thought we had good moments in the game. Kelleher made some good saves. I thought it was good. Craig, I'm guessing you didn't get money back from Boston. Now we're out about $7,000, mate. Unfortunately, the venue, the flights for 4 of us, the apartment was like $2,400 and something for the 6 nights. We're out about $6,000, maybe 7. And there's no way to get any of it back. And look, it is what it is. It hurts a lot, but what can you say? It is what it is. There's no point in whinging about it. Craig, Rory Jennings did an interview with a football finance expert, Stefan Borson. He explains Chelsea being serious doo-doo. So yeah, I kind of touched on that a little bit earlier on, not on the Rory Jennings part, but Martin Ziegler, who of course writes for The Times, is an incredibly esteemed journalist and one that I certainly myself hold in very high regard. He said, and they're paraphrasing here in Transfer Sector, the Premier League is investigating alleged irregular payments related to the Willian and Eto'o deals, as well as other players between 2012 and 2019. After Chelsea's new owners self-reported them, charges could lead to a large points deduction. I've got to say, and I think a lot of people might be of the same mindset, it feels like it's about time that Chelsea were at least properly looked at for the finances. Because I know Todd Bowley is a new owner, but previously it's quite well known that Chelsea were losing a lot of money, just shy of £1 million a week for the entirety, on average, of Roman Abramovich's reign. And there are a lot of things that didn't make sense to us mere mortals at the time, so let's wait and see. The Premier League is a lot in his hands right now. They've got the Chelsea stuff to talk about. They've got the Leicester City situation. They've got a hearing that's taken place over the next couple of days with Everton as well about a possible second points deduction. Then they've got the Nottingham Forest case, which Forest have appealed, looking to have their 4-point deduction removed. And then that's before we even talk about the Manchester City 115 charges. It feels really grubby right now to be a football fan. The game looks like it's... Look, I was told something else about the Manchester City situation that I don't feel comfortable saying on camera. But if proves to be true, and I say if because, as I said, don't know it to be a fact, it could be tip of the iceberg stuff. And again, I'm going to have to be careful what I say because the person that told me was, speaking carefully. It's, could be big doings if that's properly looked at. Big Ange is the character to be our manager and as a supporter. Yeah, but he's also just in a job now 1 year with Spurs, and Daniel Levy is a tough man to negotiate with. And I don't feel Ange Postecoglou would want to walk away from Spurs at the moment. He's transitioning that club, trying to get them back into the Champions League. He's there or thereabouts to get them in there. So, I think Daniel Levy and Spurs fans are happy with Postecoglou, and I don't see him changing and moving anytime soon. We're at 455 likes, by the way. If you haven't dropped a like on the stream, please do. And also, top left corner, as you can see, we're 63 away from getting to 251,000 subscribers. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. Craig, I'm good for you. What happened with Boston? Hopefully you get a chance in the future. Much love from a Chelsea fan in the Faroe Islands. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate you, mate. Look, it is one of them things, mate. It was an innocent mistake, but a costly one. Let's put it that way. It is what it is. I'm fairly pragmatic in these type of things. Who do you think would be the Ireland number one, Kelleher or Bazunu? It's really hard to gauge because obviously under Stephen Kenny, Bazunu was the number one, but I don't know. Obviously, we've seen Kelleher play the other day in the friendly against Belgium, and I don't know what the new manager, whoever that may be, is thinking will be on it. So both of them, in my opinion, good goalkeepers, and I feel comfortable with either one between the sticks. Right, look, again, thank you for tonight, making the comeback show and what happened, making it an easy night for me. I appreciate all of your support and kind words. So as I said, we won't be live tomorrow because we're out for a meal, myself, Connor, my wife and his partner, in lieu of being able to go to Boston. But we will be back on Wednesday where we'll start working ahead and looking towards the game against Brighton. And just one thing before we finish up, a reminder to coin a Sky phrase. We will have a massive Sunday this week. We're going to be taking you right through from the Liverpool-Brighton game all the way through to the end of the Manchester City-Arsenal game, and then our match reaction on Sunday right here on Anfield Agenda. So we'll be live from, 1 p.m. through till probably 7:30. So make sure you're with us on Sunday. Again, drop a like on the stream before you head off, and thank you for joining me tonight. It was lovely to be back. Appreciate you all.